Hello again everyone and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we have a 1v1 between Raghna and Zoe. Now I hope you all had a very good festive time and a good new year, and this will be our first proper 1v1 since the new year has begun. Now, Command Center is the map, and there are a few interesting things of note as we go through this initial stage. These little water pools here that are around the map in several locations, they all have a tiny pool of water on that Raghna has used is there. See all of these there, and there. And the reason they're important is because water energy production on this map, tidal speed, is 75. Now that is a lot of energy to be getting from a single tidal. So as we can see, both players here taking advantage of that. And as we zoom into Raghna, you can see that literally one of the first few things he's built is that tidal. Now what it does mean is there is going to be a little bit of congestion here over this middle point, as we see these max points here are like a little bit raised, so they are protected from like random fire, but contesting these points is going to be quite key to affect the energy production of your opponent. So as we zoom back to the players, we have Raghna in red on the left hand side, going Cortex bots, and as we zoom over to Zoe, we see he is also Cortex bots. Now this is a lot of metal on this map. Not necessarily to start off with, as both players have chosen to go for a double max position start, with the idea they will expand to the south, as you see down here, afterwards. This map is made for it to be two-player as well, so a 2v2, but both players deciding to go 1v1 at this stage. Now, as you can see, there is a lot of hills on this map, with this section here on both sides going to be blocking radar. And this is very important because if we select Zoe's radar here, you can see that enemy forces can get right up to the corner of this wall here without being on radar at all. It'll be on the vision of his units that he has there, but that's it. So that's going to play quite an important thing. And also another thing of note here is on the north side and the south side of the map, we can see Raghna's just getting to that now. There is 600 metal in the rocks that are along the sides. Now Raghna managed to secure the north side and is attempting to secure the bottom side now, but he does not have enough grunts to stop Zoe pushing in right now. And Raghna is away. He's trying to adjust his forces. The resbot from Zoe is out a bit too late here. Raghna actually doing great micro there and able to just keep him off of it for a little while longer, managing to get loads of that metal, basically leaving nothing left for Zoe. But Zoe is going for the reclaim of the grunts that are left, and Raghna actually able to get all of that metal. Was it worth it? Well, that's a good question. Was it worth it? Yeah, metal cost. He lost 5 grunts. That's like, you know, not even 300 metal. So, yeah, that was definitely worth it. He doubled his metal cost quite easy for that. So, yeah, so he's ahead by about 1,200 metal right now. You can kind of see that take into effect here as both players are energy stalling, but the reserves of Raghna is a lot more. And also, if you look at the base here of Raghna, look how many construction units he has. Construction bots. He has 7, whereas on the other side, Zoe only has 2. All of that metal that Raghna got in, he just pumped it into construction bots. His plan is just to outscale Zoe. And one thing that's also happened, which may have an impact is because Ragnar sent his forces into this forest over here and lost the units over there. The fighting has completely destroyed the trees here. Now, that's not a big deal, but when it comes to energy, you can see here that in this trees alone, there's like 13,000 energy that's available to be reclaimed. So that's probably the same amount in this top section. Actually, we can find out. It was like the equivalent of this. But yeah, about 13,000 worth of energy Raghna has removed from the map. Not without reclaiming it himself, but he did manage to remove it. Now, Raghna in a bit of a difficult-ish situation here. He does have an LLT to defend, so not too big a deal. Now, what we'll probably see, I didn't really get to explain it too much earlier, is radars are very iffy. You're going to have to build one, as you can see here, Zoe's done there. You're going to need one on each lane in order to see vision. Now, if either player gets some form of air unit, being able to build a radar up the top is going to be a massive deal. Then you're going to force your opponent to go air as well in order to get that. But we do see a vehicle transition from Zoe and some great D-guns coming up from Zoe here, completely annihilating Raghna's forces. Getting multiple grunts for a single D-gun each time. And Raghna not doing too well with the micro there. He is pumping out units in a tremendous rate. Raghna going for the early comm def here by trying to take out his comm. It's looking good though. 20% health, 16%, 8%. Zoe did not have the energy for a D-gun there. Zoe now only at 9% health, desperately trying to rush grunts up to defend him. That could have been the end of the game for Zoe. But he manages to survive for now. Building an extra LRT there to defend him, and then probably going to build the tidal in the water. Actually building more LLTs. Doesn't want to risk it. I would desperately send a resbot up there to heal you. Which that is exactly what he's doing. What we're also seeing now from Raghna's side is we're seeing him building a very forward vehicle factory. This is not a bad idea. He's actually reclaimed his bot lab in his base. And this means he can get forces to either side really quickly. And is a very good call. So needs some form of long-range attack to get rid of that field of laser towers that has appeared. And meanwhile, when it comes to economy, we see the energy production. Raghna has 1,000 energy production, whereas Zhao only has 580. So Raghna very much in the lead in terms of economy. Zhao actually, when we flip over to him, has a huge amount of metal excess that he's not using right now. He is not using all of the build power that he could possibly build. However, a vehicle, behind the vehicle factory rather, the aircraft lab is being produced. Now, if we see a good bombing run here, that could make a big dent in Raghna's economy, which we do see he's building a lot of windmills and a lot of energy converters. So if we start seeing a bunch of bombers come out, that could make a significant impact in this battle. Raghna surprisingly just still going for more of the wins. I mean, the engineers can't build the titles, only the commanders can. And Raghna's comm not really in trouble here, but does get forced to rebuild what he was building. Just pure stouts coming out, sorry, brutes coming out from Raghna here, which is going to force Zhao back on the south side. The armed metal extractor isn't really going to do anything versus that amount of group of units, but this does mean that Zoe now needs to push on the north side a bit. And on the map here we can see he's built another vehicle lab right up there now to try and cause some harassment. And shurikens now coming out from Zal just entering the front line. Unfortunately, they're not really going to be able to make too much of an impact as Raghna's commander walks in and just starts shooting them out of the sky. And this will force Zoe back on the bottom side, whereas on the north side here we see brutes coming out to try and counter push this top side. Big economy hit here on Zoe, losing several metal extractors. Gonna get pushed probably right back to his base, losing several engineers in the meantime. Although these tanks are now far enough away from the commander that if the shurikens do come in, there's not going to be much he can do to protect them. Which does look like Raghna is actually aware of that and is not going to push any further. But so losing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 metal extractors in that engagement and not really been able to turn it around at all for his side. Bombers now are starting to come out. Are we seeing any form of air defense from Raghna? We do see a couple of thistles going up. Thistles are okay. Will they be able to kill a bomber before it does its bombing run? Probably not. So we are probably going to see some economy damage coming up very soon. But again, Raghna on 2,000 energy income as opposed to the 800 of Zal. Raghna actually massively not using his economy properly here, really overflowing on metal, but that was on purpose as he is now transitioning to Tech 2. Bit of a fight with the commander going on at the bottom. At the same time, we see bombers coming over the middle. Camera jumping around a bit there. Bit of a spread of bombs there. And he goes for the bombing in the middle where the vehicle factory was, but the bombers don't actually accomplish anything. I know have construction turrets there to quickly and easily heal up anything that took a single sliver of damage. But north side taking artillery fire, slowly getting pushed back. Big fight of tanks along the bottom, just jumping backwards and forwards, getting healed up by the commander and the red spots. And Raghna actually on the defensive now, losing his north side, nothing to push in against that. I mean, actually, saying that, he does have all of these grunts. But then there's a quite easy counter force. But this is a good back and forward here from Raghna. Raghna and Zoe basically mostly concentrating on this fight here. A couple of these lashes here in the back just to deal with any shurikens that come across. Raghna now pushing in with these grunts, but it's a little too late as they're going to die quite quickly here. And surprisingly, Raghna still not sending forces to the north, deciding to actually send this Tsar to the south. Interesting move here. Does he not realize he's losing the north? This is going to get pushed down pretty quick. Raghna's comm potentially in danger here. A lot of tanks pushing through. D-guns going off from Raghna. 30% health. 20. 16. 10. 3. Raghna gets caught off guard and his commander gets taken out by Zoe. What a turnaround. Great job, Zoe, managing to dethrone the king that is Raghna. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more bar videos, and I'll see you guys next time.